Yeah, yeah.
I do live streams, so I don't even be
I,
recording nothing. I
I
just
know you're
push,
free. I
push
know.
start and flow. Say
and
bars just come off the dome.
I want to get into that because I know that's how you roll. So oh, cool, man. Awesome. Well, appreciate you joining me. I got here a very, very cool guy, Mr. Chris Monroe. How are you?
All is well, and I want to say thank you for bringing me on.
Hey, no worries. Chris, I've been trying to think back when I first met or saw you, I guess, because I mean, your online personality is something in itself, but I think I saw you originally on Chris Haskins' YouTube. I think you had been with him talking some creative real estate. I think that was pretty close to your beginning. When did you actually get started in real estate?
Yeah, so I closed my very first deal August of 2018. So I'm still a newbie in the game. I just did a bunch of deals. August of 2018, I closed my first wholesale deal. Quickly learned about the creative stuff, and I closed my first creative deal December of 2018. So just hit 3 years on that part.
Yeah, that's moving pretty quick. Especially going from what I would, what most people would consider entry level stuff to doing kind of advanced stuff. So I know we could get into creative forever. I do want to get in a little bit here, but who did you learn it from? Who originally taught you creative real estate?
Anybody who talks about it, I know what they say about it. And I picked all the best stuff and say, I don't like that. I'm not doing that. I like that. I'll take that. So I stand on the shoulders of giants, the OGs of the game have been in for many, many years, all the way to the, newer fellows you may see out here. So, we pick up stuff from all over, but then I put my own twist on it, put my own thing on it, and I make it work better. I try to perfect what I find out in the marketplace.
Yeah, I think that's interesting too, right? I mean, I think there's a lot of people that not necessarily don't have that the one method, right? So you've taken what you've liked and kind of condensed it down into something that works for you.
That's correct. Yeah, develop my own like scripts or my own intake type sheets and things, stuff like that. I can't even see that. All these, one pager, but I created it over time. It's like the 8th or 9th remake of that to make it flow better for my virtual assistants, for anybody on the team that's working a deal, etc. So I try to make things simple like a pimple.
So I want to talk about that, right? So you have been doing live long version speaking on multiple platforms. I did a deep dive on your YouTube channel. And so you had a show originally, right? Like almost like a live version radio show. How did that come about, and what made you even want to start getting into that originally?
Yeah, it's really more so about reaching more people in the marketplace, whether it's to just for networking or whether to do more deals or to learn from, or maybe I'll bring on an expert, maybe that's good in short sales, or an expert that's good in pre-foreclosures or good in whatever genre they are, multifamily development, whatever it is, something I want to know more about. I bring them on the podcast. I'm going to ask some good questions, and I don't take notes on the questions. It comes off the dome automatically, just naturally through the conversation, kind of like we're having now. You'll hear somebody say a little something like, wait a minute, what about that? Let's dig a little deeper on that thing you just said. So it's kind of like that. So the Woke Real Estate Podcast, it was every Monday, but now we do it about once a month or so.
But even longer than that, right? I mean, you have been talking to people, not even about real estate, for a long time. You've been learning the art of conversation, as someone that we know from Clubhouse that likes to say. So, but what made you realize you had a talent for it? Because you do. I don't think there's any question that you have that ability to talk to people live. But so when did you realize you had that talent, and when did you realize you can make money from that talent?
Probably. So my first live streaming type experience was with Periscope, I believe in 2017 or so. Yeah. So I was already on there. I used to talk about news, politics, current events, all that stuff. I can talk about any topic really, but I think the skill set came from that. And I don't feel like I'm super skilled at it or anything, but it's just something that happened over time naturally through my matriculation in entrepreneurship, learning how to communicate effectively, ask good questions, be a good listener, and just relate to people.
And that was Clubhouse before Clubhouse. I mean, that was really what that was. I mean, because Clubhouse is a crash course anyways, and being able to speak in public and and having thoughtful conversations. So, I mean, that was definitely what you were doing prior to that. Okay.
Yeah, I started more so with the Periscope, but Periscope's gone, bye-bye. But I see a lot of my friends from that app that's defunct now over on Clubhouse or over on Fanbase or on Twitter Spaces or one of these other type of platforms. I see them everywhere. You know, they're like, Chris, I remember you from here. And I'm like, okay, I don't remember you, but okay. Yeah.
So how important has social media been in your business then? I mean, obviously, so I mean, you got a lot of followers on Clubhouse, right? Which obviously you shine. I think that's one of your strong suits. What role has social media played in your business?
Major role. I mean, it's reaching people, you know, and it doesn't cost any money. I'm actually, it's a two-pronged approach. One, I'm helping people by bringing information, and then two, I can help people if they either want my products or services, etc. So it gives an audience. You know, if you don't have an audience, who are you going to sell to? What my guys say, if they don't know you, they can't flow you. Uncle G says it all the time. So it's always about making sure people know you exist, and then if you can convert those people from there to something further, better. So I've even done deals off Clubhouse, virtual wholesale deals. I've actually bought a house, a couple of houses off of Clubhouse. You're like, wow, how do you buy houses off of there? People. It's still people when the smoke clears.
That's right, for sure. But I know you and your business though, that if social media went away tomorrow, you would still be buying houses because you have that system in place to contact people and continue to buy deals. You think that's true too?
100%. You wouldn't believe it, but this silly hat that says I buy houses sounds silly. I bought several houses from starting conversations because people saw the hat. Hey,
Right.
you buy. My mom wants to sell her house. Let's have a conversation. It starts the conversation, and where we go from there, I don't know. But if you get that skill set up, that's what I tell most people. You can make deals happen that most don't even see.
Yeah, yeah. I have something similar, and one of the things that was, you really buy houses? Yeah, it's not that hard. It's really not that complicated as you might think. So yeah, we buy houses for sure. So if you got a house to sell, and then you go from there.
Exactly. And
Go ahead.
right before Christmas, like that, a guy saw me with the hat, and he's like, "Chris, you buy houses?" I'm like, "Yeah." Well, he acted like he really didn't want to say anything because it was his mom. His mom just passed, but we ended up doing a deal with him too. So it's just all about people knowing you are a person that's looking to buy actively, starting that conversation. Are you looking to sell a house? If they don't want to sell, do you know anybody looking to sell a house? In fact, I'm going to drop a nugget for everybody on a podcast here. We like to put a little sprinkle in there for the people that listen. So say somebody, what's the most common question people say? How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? I'll be doing a whole lot better if you had a couple of houses I can buy.
Yeah. Your soliloquies and your the way you have these little things that you kind of pop up. I freaking love them. And they are conversation starters for sure. And I know it comes off your tongue so easily. So it's cool. Even in the Clubhouse space, you've got all of them, right? How do you go ahead, tell the people how you introduce yourself on Clubhouse.
So for those that don't know, my name is Chris Monroe, the student master teacher, Mr. I Stay Woke. But yeah, I'll just talk like that. That's
perfect. I love it, man. No, it's good.
So yeah, that's the thing. I just try to differentiate myself from others. You don't want to be mixed in with the bunch. You're just like the rest of them. No, I'm nothing like the rest of them. I'm me and they're them. I make that very clear from the beginning.
Yeah. Yeah. And you're definitely more extroverted where I'm more introverted, but I love the one-on-one situation, which is why I think I relate to sellers. But you also relate to the masses and the sellers. So that's fantastic. One of the questions I like to ask people on here, and I think is going to be, your response is going to be interesting more than most, but what's better to have a lot of? Is it cash or credit?
A lot of cash or a lot of credit? Well, I don't use my credit to buy real estate, so I don't know. I guess default answer may be cash because I don't use my credit to buy real estate. It's not required.
Right. I figured you would say that. I mean, for a creative standpoint, how many deals have you used your own credit to actually purchase a property? And how many houses have you used using none of your own credit?
Let me see. How many times have I used my credit to buy a house? Zero. Yep. Goose egg. I do not believe in putting debt in my name to buy real estate. It's not required.
Boom. And then all the houses you currently own, zero you've used your own credit. Amazing.
Exactly. I bought them creatively, either through seller financing, if they were free and clear, we made the seller into the bank. If they had a loan on it, we either bought it on a subject to type deal, buying the house subject to the existing financing, or on a wraparound mortgage. And I always love to exit. I don't always exit, but I love to exit on the lease with the option to buy. My number one go-to exit strategy, which I'm about to start making a bold claim that no exit strategy is better than that. I'm about to make that claim coming up soon. I don't want to do it yet, but I'm thinking about it. What you think?
I get it. I mean, I'm right there with you. I mean, we had this conversation. I bought some of your lease option paperwork because I didn't have any that I just loved. So I bought a few that. And the best part is the application and the initial like offering page where they kind of give you a lowdown of what they're looking for. Because I've stopped giving people numbers on all my lease options. Like I'm not saying, hey, how much this is what I'm looking for in a monthly payment in a down payment. I'm not saying that anymore. It's more along the lines of everything's negotiable. We do not have a minimum down payment requirement. I just say we don't have a minimum, but I look at all offers and I've got 35 people interested in this property. So what do you got? And that's worked out.
The more you put down, here's another nugget for the people. The more you put down, the lower your monthly payment could possibly be, as well as better terms. So right. I don't tell them how much, but the more you put down, we want that, plant that seed in the mind. The more you put down, the lower your monthly payment could possibly be, as well as better terms. And then they'll say, oh, well, I can come up with 30,000 down. You're approved. Put them in there.
Yeah.
I'm in it for 2,000. You in for 30,000. You're approved.
Yeah. And how many of those have you had? The ones that just knocked your socks off. Like you were like, I was never expecting that.
My very first one, I got $21,000 down for, so that was a blow away. And I still own that house 3 years later, and it's got a bunch of equity right now. That house has a loan on it for about 70 grand. It's worth about 185. So that house has over $100,000 in equity on a house I have no money in, no credit in, and it's been cash flowing for the last 3 years. Crazy. So don't wait to buy real estate. Buy real estate and wait creatively.
I can't think of a better way to end that, Chris. How can people get a hold of you?
Most definitely. My website is wokerealestate.com, WOKE. That's wholesaling opportunities, keeping equity. And I'm like, what's woke? Now you found out. WokeRealEstates.com. And you can follow me on all social media outlets at Chris Monroe STL. That's Snapchat, that's Twitter, that's Instagram, that's Facebook, that's YouTube, that's TikTok. And you know we on Clubhouse at Chris Monroe STL.
Appreciate it, Chris.
100.
Cool. All right, man. So now now we're going to go into kind of the deep stuff, man, because I want to get in. I want to talk a little bit about your, I would say, vertical integration, right? So once you got good at real estate and started doing more wholesale deals, you're buying stuff creatively. When did you start to kind of think, oh, there's coaching. Oh, there's hard money lending, like all of these different, there's paperwork options. Like, when did you decide to kind of start to integrate everything into your business?
Well, it's actually a natural thing. You know, when you're actually just doing deals, you're going to come across problems. And as you start to solve problems, you start seeing that others have the same problems. Then you start helping them solve their problems. And it just piles up, and away. Like I said, I started with wholesaling, then I shifted over into more the creative space, buying houses without using my credit or cash. And then I found out, oh, wow, we can finance deals for others, whether they're doing fix and flips or they want a 30-year loan on a property that's for investment purposes. So it's so many ways to get into this game. Property management is another way too. I don't really even talk about because others want to do these deals with their houses. I can help them set it up for a fee. And it's, you know, it can't be too hard. You know what I mean? It can be hard to a person that never heard of it. But to me, I don't even have to think about it. My virtual assistants can do majority of this stuff. So yeah, it's a natural progression just from step by step by step. You find out the more deeper you go into real estate, that the money is made with the paperwork.
Yeah. For a guy that, I mean, you can do, and that's my follow-up really is, I think about your business and what you've created, and a lot of it is done with you. I mean, how many partners do you have? Like actual partners that take a piece of your business? And that's incredible. It really is. In a world of squatting up, which I understand that like process, right? I think like a part of us are, in some parts of the business, having a partner and be able to, it takes you to a new level. But also it seems to be that you are more of a master of systems. You think that's kind of helped you in a way to kind of maintain your business and having zero partners take a piece of the pie?
Yeah, that's the thing. And I'm all for a JV or a joint venture deal. I love joint venture deals. In fact, we just closed one last month, a couple of weeks ago, December. Well, I guess that is last month. In
Yep.
December, right by Christmas time. Gross profit $20,500. I mean, what do you want me to do? She found the seller for and locked them up under contract for 19.5. I found a buyer way out in California for 40,000. $20,500 gross profit. We get to split on a house I never seen, on a seller I never met, on a buyer I never met, all virtually. So all over the phone, kind of like we're doing now.
Now, is that something you always plan on doing, or what's kind of, we talk about the next progression. What do you think your next natural progression is? Is it something larger, or is it can kind of continue to refine and maintain what it is you're currently doing?
I think it's probably going to be getting into the multifamily space eventually. It's not something I was going to get into it sooner until I found this other creative thing with the houses. Where you can make so much money and so much passive cash flow without any of the headache, with no property management, tenants, toilets, termites, and any other T's you can think of. I don't have to deal with none of that mess. So it's like, well, I want to go work hard. And I tell people all the time, I just had to tell them earlier today in this room, it's okay, everybody, to be paid for doing nothing. I know it pains you to hear it. We got to go work hard for money. We got to stress out. We got to get up early. We got to stay up late. We got to do all this stuff. But it is perfectly okay to be paid for doing nothing.
Yeah, man, I love that. And so that leads me into another set of questions, which I was thinking about. Like, I like to think of you specifically, or whoever I'm talking to specifically, things that I find interesting. And one of the things we talked about is, okay, when is enough for you? Or do you even know when enough is enough? Like, is the trajectory always going to be this, right? With income and cash flow and money? Or is there ever a time that you'll take your foot off the gas?
Well, I actually live a pretty passive life right now. So it's really kind of stress-free. I actually have multiple businesses, by the way. I don't talk about
I know. I'm going to get into them too. I have questions about them because you do everything, man. I don't know how it is, but you do it.
I put a good system in place. I put good people in place. People, good systems, good software, and let them do what they do. And all I do is make decisions. I just got to be a good decision maker. That's really the key.
Yeah, I like that. And as I'm sitting down, and I know this isn't about me, but I'm trying to think about what that future looks like. Is it the natural progression of always up? And I think there's people, especially in entrepreneurship, that will never be enough, right? And knowing yourself is pretty important. Would you agree that kind of knowing what it is that you want is important in entrepreneurship?
100%. What's important to you? Is it the freedom of your time? Is it the freedom of being able to sit up on Clubhouse, or sit on this podcast, or sit in my Twitter Spaces room we're about to do here shortly, or whatever we're doing? I work more out the brain than physical. I don't go out here lifting and hammering and doing all that stuff. That stuff's so far from my brain, it ain't even funny. I don't even know why people work so hard. There's nothing wrong with working if you got to, but you have to put yourself in a position to get up off of that thing called WORK, work hard. No.
Yeah. Setting up the lifestyle that you want, I think is something you're definitely doing. And it's fun to watch for sure. So how you have, I think, a furniture business, right? Like, is that one of your first entrepreneurial?
So my very first entrepreneurial event was a cleaning business. I had a residential and commercial cleaning business for 4 years. Started that back in about 2012 or something like that. Had that for 5 years. Found out in the cleaning business that people were throwing away perfectly good things, flat screen TVs, perfectly good professional stuff. You're like, throw that away? I'm not throwing that away. That's $500. Slap it on Craigslist, slap it on OfferUp, slap it on Marketplace, wherever you want to slap it on, and sell it. And so I was being paid to throw stuff away, to make money on the stuff I threw away, supposedly, but I wasn't throwing it away. So that's when I found out about resale. Then I said, well, how do I get more of this stuff? Then I got into the storage auction buying business. I started going to auctions, like they have Dave Hester.
Yeah.
When they
just like Storage Wars.
What if I sold Storage Wars? That's right. I am the St. Louis Dave Hester. So don't tell everybody. I think probably about 300 storage lockers or so. So I learned how to sell pretty much anything from that because I came across everything. furniture, collectibles, antiques, big things like this, all type of stuff. So it just, I never know what I'm going to come across. Bikes, cars, shoes, clothes, you name it. All that stuff can be sold to somebody else. So that's where I learned more of my sales skills from that. Then I moved over into auctioneering. So I'm an auctioneer, like I just said, 25 and 35 and 45 and sold. So I sold stuff for other people that way. Estate sales, sell people things that way. I help people solve problems. I mean, that's really what it all comes back to. Is there a problem in the marketplace? I'm going to bring you a solution. I'm going to be compensated for it. It's really that simple. It's not, rocket science. I'm not busting them over the head with high prices and nothing silly, but I will if it's going to make me work. If you make me work hard, I charge. So,
Yeah,
so
man.
if you don't make me work hard, we can get in for the cheap, for the low. But if you want to work, man, you got to pay me real good. So that's basically, some of the stuff I've been doing. And so now I think I have like 14 streams of income.
That's unbelievable. Yeah. Old Larry Legend back here. I got a little guy here, Larry Birds in the background that I found in one of my vacant properties. I also got a Peloton bike. One of the nice, I bought a house sub 2.
Retail.
Yeah. And the guy left it a Peloton bike behind. So
stuff, even if it costs $1,000 now, retail, you can sell it on a resale market for $750 or so. That's free money. Free money.
Yeah. Yeah. That one my wife kept. So
or you just keep it and use it. You got a free resource.
Yeah.
It happens all the time. In fact, even when we buy these houses, I get brand new washers, dryers, appliances, stainless steel refrigerators come with the house. Thank you. They don't want to move it. They don't want to deal with it. I'll take it and it'll be mine.
Yeah. I can't tell you how many houses that I bought with stuff in it. Actually, one of my last flip had a ton of stuff in it. And I had a guy. So I put it on Facebook, come by, anything you want, give me a fair price. It's yours. Right. But I didn't do what you did, which I should have, but instead I was like, anything that's not bought, I'm throwing in the big garbage bin that I bought a 40-yard dumpster, right? So it's out front. So I had this guy come up and he looked through the house and he was like, all right. He gave me like $20 for some items. I thought that was fair. So then I'm throwing stuff away. And as I'm throwing stuff away, he's like, can I have that? And he would go into the dumpster. And I was like, all right, there's only so much of that you can do. At some point, either buy it or you got to go. But yeah, man.
100%. I'm even going to drop a nugget on that. So I stopped buying roll-off dumpsters. Or renting them, whatever you want to call it. I don't get them anymore. I don't know if it's people in your market like this, but there's people all the time to come off and do the haul off. I'll just have them go clear out the whole house for probably half of what I was going to pay for the dumpster. They might charge me $300 or $400, but the dumpster might have been $600 to $800. Well, I don't even want the dumpster anymore. Pay the people to come haul it away. Give them the money. They got the labor, the trucks, all of that. They haul it away that same day, and no dumpster sitting in my driveway for 2 weeks or however long it takes. So,
and that was pretty much one of your first businesses, right? I mean, that's how that. I mean, were you doing haulaways in your original cleaning business?
It happened. Yeah, we started off a regular traditional maid service, and then we started getting people say they wanted full blown clean outs. We would charge them an extra $600-700 just for the clean out, plus per hour for our labor going there to do the job. And we got into post construction cleanup. So we did a bunch of Buffalo Wild Wings. We did a bunch of Jack in the Box, whatever they remodeled. We almost got a Walmart. I didn't really want that one because that's a big place. I didn't have enough manpower for that. I only had like 12 employees, and that ain't even enough at that time to do a Walmart post-construction cleanup. That's a lot of dust, a lot of stuff. And I definitely glad we didn't do that one. But yeah, you can definitely scale that type of business up too. There's no shortage of that stuff. However, there is a shortage of good quality workers.
Yeah. And that's still the case. I think so do you find that, I know you're not doing a lot of rehab, and are you doing anything now? Like, do you have to ever call a plumber? Do you even have a plumber on your call list?
No.
That's unbelievable. I mean, just think about that in itself. How much time that saves you. I mean, I had a property management company. You constantly were going through people. And I think that's the biggest thing that attracts me to lease options is that.
I'm going to have to implement that into my clubhouse or other future spills now, Michael. I'm going to have to say, I don't even know a plumber. I'm going to have to throw that out.
That's exactly right. I want to hear that one.
Make it man, I don't even know nobody to fix on houses. I don't even know them people. I don't know no contractors, whatever, but that make it sink in to people, I think. I like stuff like that to make it hit.
Yeah, and that's true. And that makes me laugh too. Is comedy important to you?
100%.
Lighthearted?
It makes things memorable for people. They can remember the things and they learn better, and you keep the attention of the audience.
Yeah, I love stand-up comedy. It's one of my one of the things that I really love to watch. And I can tell that you're not just that, like a performer. And I think that's important. I'm sure you relate very, very well to sellers. Is there a time where it just doesn't work no matter what? Like what, I mean, there's just going to be people on the phone that are a no-go no matter what, right?
Yeah, I don't mind them. I mean, I tell them, I'm saying, well, I may not be, I'm doing the takeaway from them before they do the takeaway from me. I may not be your buyer. However, if you want to sell, I am your guy. I'm your huckleberry. I'm myself right now, as I am on the phone, as I am in person with the seller. So I just let them know I'm just be myself. And a lot of them like that breath of fresh air. It's not fake. It's not scripted. Let me read my script. What does my script say? No, I'm me. I want to buy your house. If you want to sell your house, we got a couple of ways we can do it. Let's talk about it.
Yeah. I love that. That made me think about, I bet you get some people on the phone, and this is the thing that I've been struggling with in my business lately, is because I find creative financing so easy in a way to make a deal work that sometimes I find myself not willing to negotiate and just try to make the numbers fit via the person. So do you ever do that? And have you ever bought a house for retail because of creative financing?
Yeah, I've bought houses many times with little to no equity. And I actually probably made more money on those than any other way that I can think of, because we can extract money from a deal that has no equity in it, just by doing a creative financing, because we create the equity out of thin air. So yeah, I've done that with those little to no equity deals. As
Do you use
far
it
as
as a crutch? Is
no,
creative financing a crutch?
no, it's just an offer. I mean, you can either say yes or no, or I'll find out what they're looking to accomplish. Well, we have a way we can help you accomplish that, Mr. Seller. However, here's what we will require. Bing, 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 bing. Will that work for you, or probably not? They're gonna say probably not. No problem. Water off a duck's back.
And we're on to the next one, right?
That's
So
right.
are
And we
you
put them
still
up in a
doing?
follow-up sequence, because many times they might say no right now. That doesn't mean no forever. And especially if you're dealing with people that's gonna list it on the MLS in their mind, oh, it's worth all this money. The market is hot. Okay, I'll see you in about 2 months. Let me know when you want me to call you back, because if this don't work out, I'm the option. In fact, we like to ask sellers that question. What do you plan on doing, Mr. Seller, if you're not able to sell it? Very important, because in their mind, they just know it's going to sell. I just know it's going to sell. But what happens if it doesn't happen the way you think? And let them tell us, and we use that to close them with. So it's so important to ask the right questions to these people, because that's going to make that conversation go a little bit better, and you can solve their problem with your solution.
Well, you're definitely a problem solver. What, speaking of problems to solve, if we go to what I think is going to happen, where they're going to start requiring people to be licensed to wholesale, would that be something you'll try to do? That you'll actually potentially get licensed if that's required?
No, don't hurt me. Just, I mean, if it's a license required, you put somebody on the team. It's not a big deal. You know how many realtors out here not even using their license? I mean, like,
A
really, when you
bunch.
start to think about that alone, I met so many people. Oh, I got a real estate license. You doing real estate? No, I just got a license. What the hell are you doing? Just paying these people money for no reason?
Yep. I got one of my favorite memes that I ever did, and I'm not a meme guy, but I created a meme I was really proud of. It was of the Virgin Mary holding what looked like a kind of baby Jesus, and I put it below it. A new realtor is born every 5 minutes, right?
Ooh.
Because they like, I had 3 people in my Facebook feed say, "Hey, I'm a realtor now. I want your business." I'm like,
But
are
then
they
see,
going to
that's the
last?
thing, so sometimes you have to look at these people and screen them. This goes for wholesalers too. Everybody that wants to get into the business. You got people that have the hustle in their heart that just may be misguided. Maybe they don't have the right training, the right
Yes,
education. Those people I want, because they're hustlers. You can't teach hustle. But if you're
right.
like lazy and don't really want to go, you're not a go-getter, you can go get her somewhere
Yeah.
else.
And some people have to learn the hard way, right? That they're not that. Like, they think that they are, or honestly, they just think it's going to be easy. I think getting your license is pretty easy to be a realtor, right? But actually performing, not so much. And that's where, like you said, the go-getters got to be in your life.
Exactly.
Cool, man. You were awesome as always. I appreciate you, Chris, doing this for me.
Cool beans, cool beans. So you said, where are you going to be putting these up at?
So I've got you. So it's going to be on Instagram. Okay. I'll tag you in that. It'll be up next Wednesday. And then that'll be linked to the full version on YouTube. So I'll, if you need a copy of it, throw it up there or whatever you want to do. it's fine. If not, no big deal.
I think I can download any YouTube video anyway.
Yeah, I think you can now. Yep,
yeah,
for
everything.
sure.
So I haven't seen a YouTube commercial in so long. I mean, once you get on that thing, you're stuck. Like, oh my gosh, I don't have to watch any commercials ever.
Yeah. Yeah. Are you getting income from YouTube at all now?
Yes, I've been
Yeah.
getting money from YouTube for 2-3 years now. They send me a deposit every month,
How about
direct
that?
deposit, and I have affiliate programs and stuff too. So that's what
Well,
I
I
said. I
think
got
that's where you're killing it. Yeah.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
the
You're
passive
killing
money
it.
there. From
Right.
all these different places, just monthly money coming in. Like, wow, another one. Wow. I mean, these aren't even big checks. I mean, they could be
Sure.
2,500, 2,000, whatever. But that's a lot of money just to be coming in for doing nothing, having fun, helping people. How do you lose on that?
You can't. No. Nope. Not at all, man. Well, I appreciate you.
All
Thanks,
right,
Chris,
peace.
man. I will see you in Clubhouse.